I want to talk a little bit about the Fallout game you've maybe never played. Let's talk about Wasteland for a minute.
I never played it.
Yeah. Have you ever played Wasteland?
Nope.
You ever played Wasteland 2?
They're all wasted.
Nope.
So that's one of the reasons Tal's here today. I was really glad he was on because
I'm
you get
old.
No, that's
Jared
okay.
invited me here
No.
because I am old.
No, that's not
really
the only
short
reason. But no, really, I like having Tal on, and this was just a good week to talk about Wasteland and Wasteland 2. So these games aren't called Fallout, but in some ways they are more Fallout games than Fallout might be. Let's talk about that.
Well, it's certainly you see the direct lineage in Wasteland to the first two Fallouts.
Okay.
1 and 2, before it went fully 3D. So Wasteland came out when I was in high school. I remember having a quote-unquote study hall, which basically just meant I could go to the library and go to the computer lab and boot up my Apple II discs of Wasteland and just play that. And as long as you were playing, like on the computer at that point in time, people were happy. Teachers were like, look at that bright kid on that computer doing that thing. And I was like, I'm fooling them all. I'm able to play a game in the middle of school. It's fantastic.
I have good memories like that as well.
Oh, it was great. So yeah, basically I just played Wasteland at school all day. That's why I ended up here. But yeah, I mean, Wasteland was just, in the tradition of Bard's Tale, which is a classic RPG done by Interplay, Brian Fargo and team. Published by EA. Used to love the box art too. They had the flat. It was like records. Like it was like albums. You got like basically this fold out. You saw a whole picture of the team on the back dressed in their Fallout like post-apocalyptic gear. It was just the stuff that imagination was made out of when I was a kid. Of I was probably 14 or 15 when it came out originally. But it was a turn-based RPG where you have a group of rangers and you're going through the wastelands of Nevada and
Post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, exactly. And you have ghouls, and you have like a lot of the tropes. I mean, Fallout really was born out of Wasteland because what happened is Brian Fargo's company, Interplay, they became a publisher as well down the road. Electronic Arts published the first Wasteland, and they own the rights to Wasteland.
Right.
So when Brian Fargo and team wanted to do Wasteland 2, they couldn't because they didn't own the rights. So what did they do? They started Fallout. Now, they had a lot of the same lore. They had a lot of the same base that they had from Wasteland, and they brought that over. But they created a slightly different world.
What we call a spiritual successor.
Yeah.
But what in this case
and
was almost a perfect sequel to Wasteland. It really
folks
was.
like, Tim Kaine was the lead programmer and I believe lead designer on it. You had... again, Interplay working on Fergus Urquhart, who now runs Obsidian, who worked on, his company worked on Fallout New Vegas, so great lineage there. Worked on the game at Interplay. Leonard Boyarsky on the art team. So, like, you have a bunch of these names that had been, who were big in the games industry doing this Fallout game, and it was the perfect mix of. What you see today in full 3D, it was an isometric game, but it was that perfect mix of tension and action and role-playing, but humor too, right? It had that tongue-in-cheek humor in it, even to the point of if you played a character, you had your special stats. If you played a character that had a super low intelligence, you actually had options that were complete gibberish. Like, literally, you were saying no words.
Obsidian kind of did that with New Vegas.
Yeah.
And you see some of that.
Because, again, you had some of the guys who actually worked on those original Fallout games, and it was just these funny bits that were like, oh, that's so creative in design, and you would never think of, a normal game. You just wouldn't have that, but you're like, wow, they really went to the next level with that.
Yeah,
right?
It looks so primitive when you look back at it now.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. It's like looking at Wasteland, and like whenever you look it up, like it automatically gives you the search to suggestion for like Fallout and Fallout 3 and stuff.
Are you sure you didn't mean Fallout?
It is.
So Wasteland was basically it was all text on screen. It was text and one little picture, right?
Yeah, over the court, just like Bard's Tale.
Yeah, just like Bard's Tale. So you had your picture of, if you're talking to the bartender, it's going to be his picture. If you're, you go to the map and you're going like one tile at a time, like Ultima. But mostly, like, combat was pick, 1 to attack, 2 to defend, 3 to reload, etc.
Not exactly VATS.
Yeah, not exactly VATS, but it was turn-based.
Yeah, it was turn-based, and Fallout 1 did introduce VATS right off the bat.
Yep.
And it's one of the first things you learn in the game.
And the Brotherhood of Steel. I mean, really, you go back and look at Fallout 1, all the concepts that are in the later Fallout games, even to today, the lore and the history, everything was there. So it was a well-thought-out universe.
It's not the ghoul eyes.
Yeah, just not the Google Eyes. They had to fix that.
Yeah.
Or Man Bulge version 1.
Are the immersive bottle caps.
Yeah. So fast forward to...
I have a feeling Man Bulge uses immersive bottle caps somehow to create...
Those two are together?
Yes.
Yeah, the preview photos for Man Bulge version 1 are they're fun. Fast forward from the Apple II to the 21st century. What about this
When is
here
that?
Wasteland 2?
Oh, Wasteland 2.
So how'd that happen?
Yeah, that was actually really good. If you haven't played Wasteland 2 and you like Fallout, I highly suggest getting Wasteland 2. It is not only a spiritual successor, a real sequel to Wasteland. Finally, like you go to some of the original locations. They make reference to some of the quests that you had to do in Wasteland. They make direct references to those. Like there was a part where spoilers. You had to kill a little boy and his mutated dog, or at least you could choose to.
Right.
And and there they make reference to that. There's all kinds of great references in Wasteland 2 that I haven't played Wasteland since the late 80s. And it was like great, all these like little memeries that were sparking and synapses firing when I was
but
playing
you don't
Wasteland
have to have
2.
played it. You can enjoy
you
it without
absolutely
that.
don't have to. And it's very much done in an isometric style like Fallout 1 and 2. Turn-based combat, but again, just really captures that humor really good and done by Brian Fargo and team.
And this game came out only a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
very
I think
recent.
it's just getting ready to come out for console,
For console,
right?
yeah, and
the
like a Game of the Year edition,
It came out on
yeah.
PC a couple of years ago, I think.
It's on Steam, yeah. It'll run on a toaster.
It wasn't
it's not very
last.
demanding.
Yeah, it was like fall of 2014 or holidays of 2014, I believe. But yeah, it's a lot of fun and certainly, like I said, sparked a lot of the memories. But just a really good game in its own right. And it started out as a Kickstarter, and they were really successful with it because I think from the success of Fallout, and they were able to get the rights back from Electronic Arts and make Wasteland 2.
Yeah. Go ahead, Miranda. What were you saying?
September 2014.
There we go.
Yes.
It feels like it really does feel like Fallout 2. It's got a very similar vibe to it. It doesn't feel as much like Wasteland in terms of gameplay. It's much more modernized. It's still that point and click interface, but it's much more strategic.
Yeah.
And it handles that really well. My favorite thing about it is there's a landfill full of ET cartridges. But
That's really good.
but
Yep, you're in the desert and you come across the landfill of ET cartridges.
But I would dare say that anyone who enjoyed Fallout 3 and especially New Vegas should give Wasteland 2 a real try.
Yeah. Now, New Vegas was still probably my favorite of the modern Fallout games.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly had its problems, especially at launch, but just the story and the writing and the companions. I love the companions and the companion quest in New Vegas.
You could be dumb.
And you could be dumb.
So
I already am.
My question for you guys, though, okay, this was kind of set up like a sales pitch, but I'm curious. Just looking at the images, something like Wasteland 2, and hearing that description, being pretty involved in Fallout 4 at this point, is that the kind of game that interests you or not, and why? And I want your honest opinion on whether or not something like that makes you like, I think I might get that, or no, I don't think that's for me.
Yes.
And why?
It's easy. It's available. I mean, like, it's easy to get to. I mean, it's accessible.
Yeah, it's on Steam.
Yeah, it's on Steam. It's on Xbox One. I mean, I don't... Anyway, I like the consoles.
Okay.
I love post-apocalyptic games.
You play Dota.
I know. But that's all I
Play
play on my
Undertale.
PC. That's all I play on my PC. Those two things. Anyway, and dating sims I can't get on my VDA.
I will say, too, it's not very system heavy either.
Sure, yeah.
It's very easy to play on a lower end system.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's just... It's my kind of game. So, like, the aesthetic, too. Like, I really, really, really love New Vegas. And, like, you just saying, it's if you love New Vegas, then I'm like, oh, okay. I'm sold.
More for the writing, though. Again, it's
Yeah.
not 3D. It's isometric,
Right, so-
but it's yeah.
Writing is also a big part for me. I mean, like Undertale, and I played tons of visual novels and stuff, so that's very, very important to me as well.
What about you?
Play it, you young whippersnappers.
What about you? What are your thoughts on it?
I do think I'll play it. I don't think I'd play it right now because I already have one post-apocalyptic simulator to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably going to get burnt out on the setting for just a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like I would come back to it eventually. It is a really fun setting, and if it's like we said, story heavy, it kind of takes into account how you play and how your character's set up to actually reflect those things in ways that some of the Fallouts have done, some of them have not done. I really like New Vegas, so I think I really would enjoy this.
I just love post-apocalyptic things. It's just it's the best.
Does the back of the box say it's like
Post-apocalypse
Fallout
music.
with Fallout?
What's that?
Does the back of the box say it's like Fallout with Fallout?
That would be amazing. That would be fantastic. Thank you for sharing that that one with us, Tal. I appreciate that.
I think I actually have a quote on Steam from it that's something like, it's made me feel like I was stepping right back into like Fallout 2.5 or something similar to that, because it did really feel like a Fallout game, but with the Wasteland legacy moving forward. So it's really great to see them finally be able to realize that.